Level 1, the farmer. You wake up before the sun even thinks about rising. The state doesn't wait for anyone, and neither does the cold mountain wind that cuts through the cracks in your mud and concrete house. Your village is so small it doesn't appear on any map tourists will ever see, because tourists are never allowed here. One wrong turn and soldiers shoot first, ask questions never. Inside, the roof leaks when it rains, the floor is bare dirt. You sleep on a thin mat beside your wife and your two small children, while your mother coughs all night in the corner. That cough has been getting worse for years, but there is no medicine. The state says her lungs are fine. You share one blanket, one pot, one dream of something better that you stopped believing in long ago. You walk to the collective farm that was never yours. The land belongs to the state. The seeds belong to the state. Even the worn-out shoes on your feet were issued by the state, and if they fall apart too fast, you will answer for it. 200 families work the same exhausted plots of rice, corn, and potatoes. The quota comes from officials in Pyongyang who have never touched soil in their lives. Their numbers have nothing to do with reality. The soil is tired. There is no fertilizer. The old tractors broke years ago and no one has parts to fix them. Still, you plant in spring. You pray for rain. You harvest in fall. Then you hand over everything, 70, 80, sometimes 90%. The local cadre takes his cut first, then the military, then the party. What's left is yours. Some years that left is almost nothing. You remember the famine years, the ones the government swears never happened? Neighbors swelled up like balloons from hunger edema, their bellies full of fluid while their arms turned to sticks. You found bodies on the roads and the fields, slumped against walls. The living were too weak to bury them right away. You ate tree bark, you boiled grass, you caught rats and insects. You heard whispers of worse things in other villages, things people still don't talk about in daylight. You survived. You don't feel lucky. You just feel tired. The kind of tired that started in 1994 and never left. But here's the secret almost no one outside knows. Some nights, when the children are asleep, you risk everything. You pull out a tiny smuggled Chinese radio, hide under a blanket, and listen to a single South Korean pop song. For 3 minutes, you feel human again. Then you bury the radio and go back to pretending tomorrow will be the same as yesterday. Level 2, the factory worker. Now you live in a gray concrete apartment block built by the Soviets in the 1960s. The buildings stretch forever, identical, crumbling, stained black from decades of coal smoke. Your home is on the 4th floor, no elevator. The stairs smell like boiled cabbage and damp cement. Every single morning, before you even wash your face, you dust the portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on the wall. A dusty portrait is a political crime. The neighborhood watch, the Inman band, could knock at any time. You work in a textile factory, making uniforms for the army. 14 years on the same machine that is older than you are. It breaks constantly. You fix it yourself with scrap metal and wire, because waiting for official parts means waiting forever. Your shift is 12 hours, often 14, sometimes 16, when the supreme leader declares another year of revolutionary spirit. Every year is the year of working harder for less. Your salary in North Korean won is almost worthless. The state gives you the apartment, the tiny rations, the children's schooling, but the official stores are empty. The real life happens at the Jongmadang markets. The government pretends don't exist. Your wife sells homemade tofu there just to buy cooking oil and soap. It's illegal. Everything useful is illegal. Everyone does it anyway. Once a week, you stand up in front of your coworkers for self-criticism. You confess your failures. I had a selfish thought. I didn't study the supreme leader's writings with enough devotion. You say exactly the right amount, not too little, or you look suspicious, not too much, or they investigate you. Your coworkers nod and confess their own small sins. It's a dance everyone knows by heart, level 3. The soldier, you were taken at 17, every boy serves 10 years. Your mother cried when you left because she knows what the army does to boys. They called it an honor. You are posted near the DMZ, the most dangerous border on Earth. 1 million landmines sleep in the dirt between you and South Korea. On clear nights, you can see their bright lights across the line. Your sight is always dark. You march and drill for parades more than for real war. One step out of rhythm and you get beaten in front of everyone. Your real job is construction, building roads, dams, and monuments for the glory of the leader. 10 hours a day in summer heat or winter cold, hauling stone until your back feels 50 years older than you are. You weigh 30 pounds less than the day you arrived. You eat corn porridge twice a day. Sometimes a tiny piece of dried fish, if you're lucky. Inside your chest, a quiet doubt grows. What if the Americans aren't coming tomorrow like they've said every single day since you were born? You bury that thought so deep even you can't find it most days. Doubt is the most dangerous thing in North Korea, more dangerous than any bomb level 4. The teacher, you stand in front of 38-year-olds in a mid-sized city school. They wear clean uniforms and bright red scarves. Little Kim pins sit over their hearts. Their eyes are huge and trusting, waiting for you to tell them what to think. You teach them to read using only the words of Kim Il-sung. Their first math problems count bullets and tanks. If the factory makes 500 uniforms and production rises 20%, how many uniforms go to the glorious army? Every subject circles back to the revolution. History is the Kim family story. Science is whatever the leader approves. There is no world outside the ideology. You know, some of these things are lies, but you teach them with fire in your voice because the children's test scores decide your future and their songbun decides theirs. The party officials' kids sit in the front row. They get the best grades, even if they barely try. The children from wavering or hostile families sit in the back. No matter how smart they are, university is closed to them forever. Their future was decided before they were born. You smile, you lie, you survive. Level 5, the market trader. You are the hidden heartbeat keeping the whole country alive. You run a small stall at the Jangmadang. The black market, the government swears, doesn't exist. Your shop is just a plastic tarp on the ground. You sell Chinese batteries, smuggled makeup, and most dangerous of all, tiny USB sticks loaded with South Korean K-dramas, music, and shows like Squid Game. Women run most of this world because men are watched too closely. You bribe the local police with cigarettes and cash so they look the other way. One wrong move and you can be executed as a capitalist parasite, but this market is why families eat when the state rations fail. This market is the quiet rebellion no one dares name out loud. Teenagers watch those USBs in secret at night and suddenly ask questions their parents are too scared to answer. The regime knows the videos are spreading, and it is terrified. Level 6, the police officer. You wear the uniform that makes people cross the street. You are the visible boot on every neck. Your job is simple: keep the neighborhood quiet. Every apartment block, every factory, every school has informers. Neighbors ratting on neighbors, children on parents, husbands on wives. You raid homes at 3 in the morning for forbidden radios, Bibles, or those same K-drama USBs. You confiscate, you question, you beat if you must. You tell yourself you're protecting the revolution. Deep down, you know you are just another small gear in the machine that eats its own people. Level 7. The secret police officer. Now you are the nightmare everyone fears in silence. You belong to the Boaboo, the Ministry of State Security. People stop talking the moment you enter a room. You run the invisible web. A joke about the leader, a Bible, a single USB. That is enough. You have signed the papers that sent entire families, grandparents, children, to the Kwan Liso political prison camps. Average life inside those camps is 5 years of hard labor in mines and fields. No one comes back. Their names are erased from every record. Their neighbors pretend they never existed. You don't let yourself think about what happens to them. You can't. Because the moment you show even one drop of mercy, the next report will be written about you and the trucks will come for your own family. Level 8, the propagandist. You sit in an office in Pyongyang, writing the official story for the Korean Central News Agency. You are a journalist in a country where real journalism is impossible. Every word you write must be approved by the propaganda department. You write about record harvests, while you know villages are starving. You write that the supreme leader is a military genius while soldiers eat porridge and faint from hunger. You write fairy tales. Show he shot 11 holes in one the first time he played golf. How he drove a car at age 3. You know it's all lies. But you write with a straight face because the camps are waiting for anyone who slips. Somewhere deep inside, in the small, locked room where you keep the truth, something hurts. You keep typing anyway. Level 9, the diplomat. You live abroad now, maybe Beijing, maybe Moscow. You wear a good suit, you eat real food in restaurants your own people will never see. You walk streets full of shops and lights and freedom. You see South Koreans who look exactly like you laughing and living without fear. The lie you grew up with hits you like a hammer, but your wife and young daughter are still back home. They are hostages in everything but name. If you defect, all 3 generations of your family go straight to the camps. So you smile, you lie to foreigners, and you quietly arrange shipments of French cognac, Swiss watches, and luxury cars for the supreme leader. Sanctions are just paperwork to you. Level 10, the party elite. You live in a guarded compound in Pyongyang, reserved only for high officials. You have hot water, reliable electricity, imported food in your refrigerator, and a car with a driver. Your children go to the best schools. You sit in meetings where the future of 25 million people is decided by a dozen terrified men who all know the real power belongs to one person. You have survived 3 purges by clapping the loudest when your colleagues are dragged away. You attach yourself to no faction. You volunteer for nothing. The sound of clapping in North Korea is the sound of survival level 11. The Kim family inner circle. You share the sacred bloodline, or you are the bloodline itself. You grew up in secret compounds that don't appear on any map. You skied in the Swiss Alps and ate in Paris while your countrymen boiled leather for soup. You know the truth better than anyone. But every cousin is a threat. The supreme leader has executed his own uncle and assassinated his half-brother with nerve gas in a foreign airport. Blood means nothing when the throne is at stake. At the very top sits the supreme leader himself. He owns palaces, yachts, private movie theaters showing NBA games, and an arsenal of nuclear weapons. His photo hangs in every home. His birthday is a national holiday. Grown adults sob when they see him, yet every single day he is terrified. He knows the generals smile while they scheme. He knows the people clap while they secretly watch his country fall apart on smuggled phones. One crack in the wall, and the millions he has starved will tear him apart. So he purges faster, tests more missiles, and reminds everyone he is a god. He sits alone at night in a palace the size of a city and wonders if this golden cage was ever worth the price. From the farmer's leaking roof to the supreme leader's marble throne, every life in North Korea is a prison. The songbun file writes your beginning, the system writes your end, and the cycle never stops. Right now, in those same cold mountains, a new child is being born. The state is already assigning their number. They will grow up singing songs to the face on the wall. They will never know anything else. Neither will you. You started as the child in the mountains. You ended as the man on the throne. And in the end, neither one of you was ever free.